Denise.
I'm here.
Oh my God, look at you. You look like, is this how you sleep? Like fully made up and
I
like
wake up like
in a
this.
beautiful, you wake up, see, that, oh my God, see, this whole show should be about that.
Yeah.
Because that's incredible. So, I'll do my intro and then we're going to get started. So,
Okay.
hi everybody. I'm Ben. I'm the creator of the Beanie Sleeper, the lightweight beanie with a built-in sleep mask that blocks light and keeps your head warm without overheating. Welcome to Sleeping with Ben, where I like to talk to interesting people about their lives. Sorry, I'm reading this. It's pretty bad. My guest today is my friend Denise Ester. Denise is a mom, an entrepreneur, and the creator of Muse Company Co, a life events company. And hi, Denise. How are you?
Hi. I'm well. Thank you for having me.
Oh my God, thanks for being here and thanks for looking all like put together.
Yeah.
Look at me, the color on color. If Carrie, my other guest, who's the color analyst, was on, she'd be yelling at me. Says, don't do this. Don't do this. But anyway, so listen, so what did I know you do so many things, but I have mom, entrepreneur, creator of Muse Company, former Army brat. I mean,
Yes.
what did I kind of get it all, or is there anything else?
Yeah.
Full-time management guru.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, what don't you do? You probably can make cake and everything. So that was pretty good.
Yeah. No, you mentioned a lot of things that I do, but most of it is because, I like to do the things that bring people joy, that bring me joy. So.
Can I say this? Thank you
Yeah.
so much, because that's actually my first question.
Oh.
So I really want you to, it really is, I want you to tell us about, because when we did our pre-interview, honestly, joy was all over it. It's like,
Yeah.
after we were done, I'm like having to scrape the joy off my page. There's so much joy. So anyway, so I want to know, tell us about your idea of joy. Where did that start? I mean, I don't know if you know Brene Brown, you probably know her.
Yeah.
Power of Vulnerability and all of her umpteen other books and podcasts. She talks about joy as being the thing we don't do because we're afraid the other shoe will drop. So we don't allow ourselves joy. But that's not you.
No.
From like, when we did our pre-interview, you were talking about your life as an Army kid, how your family would bring home soldiers to bring them joy during holidays. Please tell us about that and tell us about joy.
Yeah, so it really started with being a military child. My parents would invite soldiers who couldn't.
Oh my gosh, you're freezing a little bit.
Hold on.
Oh no. If you need to go to a different location
Am I back?
with better connection, you're back. If you have a different location you want to run to, you can do that. I won't force you to stay in bed with me.
No. No, okay. I think it's just because I have my phone, it will turn off if I'm not using it for a while. So,
okay.
So let me just kind of make sure that doesn't happen again. So my parents would bring soldiers home who couldn't go home for the holidays so that they wouldn't be alone or that they wouldn't, get a home cooked meal. And I just remember just sitting around the table, just having people just have that joy, even though they couldn't be with their families. And I think it really started from that point on. It was just something that I could always go back to, no matter where I was or what my situation was. It's something that I can always go back to. So bringing other people joy gives me joy. Serving other people gives me joy because that's what I've seen, as a child. So
let me ask you, so you obviously got this from your mom and dad. Did your mom, has it been like that for like your mom, her mom before that? Is this like a genetic thing within your family that joy was just something that is passed down just naturally? Because it's not always in families, and I'm fascinated. I'm just fascinated that that's like a thing that so affected you.
Yeah, I don't know that it came from my mom's mom, but I definitely know it's something that my mom took. And I think maybe because she was away from her family also. When she married my dad and he was in the military, she left my grandparents and moved from place to place. And so I think that it was her way of bringing herself joy also.
I got it. So, you talk about moving from place to place. So it's funny, again, it's the opposite of what I hear, that you actually liked it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
liked moving, you liked new places, you liked new homes. I mean, seriously, this is like, if I were to meet you in Bizarro World, that's where I would buy all this. It's really funny because you hear things about Army kids or military kids not liking the moving, but you did. What do you think what was that about?
Yeah. So my sister hated it. She's one of those people who just hated it. I married my husband because he was in the military and I wanted that life for my children. But moving gave me an opportunity to improve the things that I didn't get to do the first time, right? So if I wasn't a good friend in one place, or I did something that wasn't reflective of what I really wanted to portray, I always looked at it as a new opportunity to start fresh, a new slate, right? So I am not a person who is afraid of starting fresh, starting over, doing new things. And I credit that to always moving. 2.5 years, I always say I'm like the career new girl, right? I'm always the new girl, but I love it. It just gives me an opportunity to really continue to grow, move forward, and do things that I didn't get to do before. So
I'm curious, now I know you have one child, one kid, one child. You have two, but you have one in college?
Yes, one
in college.
Are they both
in college?
No, just one.
And one in college and the other is high school?
Yes.
How do they feel about, are they as joyful? Or are they like, Mom, seriously?
No,
how are they? Are they like you?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
And it's funny, my husband is really quiet, but he also loves like the whole joy of and giving and serving and bringing other people joy. So I think it's just natural for us. So my boys naturally take after us.
They do. And how do they feel? Well, obviously you're not in the military anymore, so they didn't have the opportunity to move as much as you did.
No, my oldest did. Yeah, my husband didn't get the memo, Ben.
Oh, he didn't?
No,
he doesn't?
The memo was we need to move around, but he got out and no, he didn't get the memo. So.
Oh no, what are we going to do? Do I need to talk to him? Do I need to get him on here and try to consult him? Well, you can always go through vacations. Vacations when you're moving.
Right. That's what I do. I travel a lot.
I'm really curious now, the addition of joy and problem solving, because you're an entrepreneur. You run, the big company is musecompany.co, right? And under that, I know there's your event planner. I know which is the time management portion. You're starting the life events under there. And I know there's even a makeup thing, but I don't know if that's under there.
That's not.
In my promo, I actually said we might do some makeup tips. I don't know why I said that, but I don't know. I was like,
okay.
Let me do a fun promo. It was in my head that you have a makeup thing that you do. Anyway, sorry about that.
Yeah, that's okay.
So talk to me about problem solving. You run companies. You're a businesswoman. You are the CEO, chief cook and bottle washer. You're everything.
Yeah.
Do you find joy in that? Or are you able to apply that to the hard decisions? Or how do you deal with problems mixing with joy? How do you deal with that? What do you do?
Yeah, so processes and structures, those bring me joy. I'm an Army brat, so of course I like all of those things, right? So,
okay.
So it's not something that I find tedious. Obviously there are times where I'm like, none of us want to do it all the time, right? But I find joy in knowing that the things that I'm doing are going to continue to move my business forward, help the people that I serve be better at whatever it is that they're doing. And I think you have to live it to teach it, right? You can't just say...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you can't just say, oh, you need to follow these processes and you need to do this if you don't do that.
Those people drive me nuts. Those are the people I'm like, get away from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, the doers. Those are the talkers, not the doers.
Right. Right.
Yeah, okay, I get you. That's very cool. That's very cool. So you don't see, when I have a big problem, it does kind of like, and then I kind of have to parse through it. So I don't really find the joy. I just find a way through it. But it seems like you actually have a natural personality where you're like, huge problem, but I know I'm going to get to the other side. I already know that. Now I just got to go through it. I don't always see the other side. I'm just like, I have faith that I'll get there, but I don't think I approach it like you do. Has that always been, even as a child, were you like that, or is that something you learned?
No, I've always been like that. My dad used to say,
really?
she's so weird. There's 4 of us, and my dad was like, she's so weird, but she's the oldest, so she'll teach the other ones. Like, so I've
Wait, and your other 3 siblings are nothing like that?
No, they always say I'm the glue.
Wow.
Yeah, they're like, you're the glue.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I wish
amazing.
that I had this like aha revelation that I could share. Other than the fact that, it's a mind thing. So if you train yourself to really say, I'm going to get to the other side, then you're going to get to the other side, right? I think the doubt, the negative self-talk kind of keeps people stuck. And that's somewhere and
You're
something.
freezing. I can't. Did your phone shut down? Yeah, it looks like it's.
How's that? Because I'm not frozen on my side. You're frozen.
Okay, well, maybe it's just my phone. I have no idea.
Okay.
So it could be just my phone. Who the hell knows? So let me ask you something, because now military is very much about time management.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, it's really precise, right? Like Swiss Army watch, whatever, precise.
Right.
Is that, now, you got so much else from the military. Is that something else with time management that you also got from your military experience with your family and seeing that?
Yeah. That's
a huge part of your life, right? Time management is really a big deal.
Yes, it is, because when you plan events, you have to have time management. When you're doing conferences, you have to have time management. When you're a coach, you have to have time management. There's a lot of things that go back to that. And so my father was actually a drill sergeant. So so time management was always a thing. If you're 5 minutes before the time, then you're late.
I'm so not hearing you, because I think it's on my end. You're freezing all the time. I don't want you to repeat, but can you just give me the last sentence of that?
Yeah, so I said my dad would always say, if you're 5 minutes early, then you're late. So it was kind of, so it was kind of like, we were always ready, always prepared. And sometimes there's a little rebel in me that says,
So let me ask you, because you actually took that and you created this whole 365-day planner that you sell.
Yeah.
But I know it's done in a different way. What is the difference between like your planner? Because I'm sure it just is really you on a page, right?
Yes.
So how is that different than like a day planner and go to Staples and get? What do you do that's different?
So the planner that I created really was created for me. I couldn't find a planner that allowed me to wear multiple hats, allowed me to be very productive. There wasn't enough space to write all of the things that I do all day, every day. And so I said, I'm just going to create one. And when I created it, I realized that a lot of people needed exactly what I needed. And so it really helps you be productive. It helps you write everything that you do in one place. Instead of having a little box to try to fill in, they're big boxes. So you can actually get what you do. And whether it's, work, personal, business, you can have it all in one place.
I think what's really great about that is it's kind of taking a step back to analog. Where actually you have paper and a piece of and a pen and you write down. I always like during like our coaching sessions and during basically any meeting I'm in, I always have a notebook and I'm always taking notes. I don't always like reread them, but I need to write them down in case I do need something. And
Yeah.
I find that I'm just not good at, like, if I type it on the screen, it doesn't feel real to me. I don't know
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah. I'm a
So
write it down person too.
yeah. So I'm just curious. So let's talk about Muse Company.
Hmm.
Now, Muse Company is in transformation right now,
Hmm.
from to a life event company, like a life event planning company, right?
Right.
So we're talking like weddings, dinner parties, birthdays, congratulations on your promotion,
Yes.
right? Any event that involves people and a celebration. Does that kind of sum it up?
Yep.
Now I got to ask you, and I'm going to ask you to do this. What would be your ideal event that you would absolutely plot to do? Do you like how I threw in the Yiddish? My
Yeah.
mother would be so happy. So
Yeah.
what life event would you actually just love to do for somebody? What would be that thing?
I think the thing that I have not done, an event that I have not done, is someone who wrote a book, like a launch party for a
A book
release of
launch?
a book. Yeah, that I would
Really?
love to do. I've not done one. So I know
Okay,
how
so
hard work it takes. You think about how much work it takes to write a book and to really share that with people. I have not done a book launch, so I would want to do a book
so
launch.
I'm going to dive into that then. So let's describe the book launch. Because I want everybody to see kind of how your brain works,
Hmm.
right? Because it works different.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean,
It,
if anybody listens to the first part of this, it's like it's a little you're different because
yeah.
you're different.
Yeah.
Full stop. You're different. So now I just wrote a book. I have a novel. It's being published by publisher A, and we're going to do our book launch. Now, am I doing this like in a Barnes and Noble, or am I going to have my own separate venue?
Oh no, you would have to have
Like,
your own separate venue. And it would be a
okay,
two-part. The signing would be in one
really?
place and then the party would be in the second place.
But all within the same
Yeah,
building, maybe? Like,
yeah,
let's
in
say
the
I
same
wanted,
area.
like if I wanted it done, let's say I wanted it done at the Museum of Modern Art inside the Monet space. We have it there.
Yeah. But I would have you in one area signing the
Hmm.
books, giving you the opportunity to really just talk with the people who are purchasing your book. But
Uh-huh.
then on the other side, we would have the celebration. And that's where you get to really just enjoy yourself and really just sit back and look at your accomplishment.
So let me ask you, if I wanted like a DJ and dance floor, would you say to me, this is a book launch. We need to be a little bit more sophisticated? Or would you be like, hell yeah, let's have barbecue and whatever
No,
you want? No.
absolutely. No, no, we are having a party. I really am not the cookie cutter event planner. So anything that's different, I'm all about that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I am all about really let's celebrate this.
Uh-huh.
That's why you have to have the two, right? You have the book signing where you can be a little more sophisticated and formal and fit into the box that authors are considered to be in, right?
Right.
And then you get to have what you really want on the other side.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Have you ever planned an entire wedding for somebody?
Yes.
You have. And
Hmm.
is it hell? Like I hear, is it hell?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. I
Yes.
want to hear
Yes.
I want to hear like at least one like bridezilla story.
So most of the time, we live in a DIY world right now where everyone thinks
Yeah.
that they can just do it themselves. And so I get
Yeah.
this bride who comes and says, I thought I could do this by myself, but I can't. And so I need to hire someone. So I'm like, okay, no problem. So I go and she has barn thing. She wanted to have a barn themed wedding to begin with. And then she had vintage items And then she had purchased all of these things on her own because this is what she wanted in her mind. She wanted a vintage barn, but then she started going modern and she couldn't bring it all together. And so I just said to her, don't buy another thing. Like, we have to kind of figure out how we're going to incorporate what you've already bought. So halfway through setting everything up, she decides she doesn't want any of that. And she wants to start all over.
Oh
And
my
the wedding is like 6 months away. And then so we had to kind of really just regroup, go back. So now we're behind the 8 ball now because you've already purchased all these things. You've already
Mhm.
gotten the venue. And so the venue is at this, it's not a barn and it's not vintage and it's not modern.
Wait, she wanted this, the barn and vintage, but she got this,
Yeah.
something else.
Yeah. So
And she was thinking those are the same thing.
yeah.
Got it.
So
Go on.
yeah. So we had to kind of really like double up on everything because normally if they say I want to have a vintage barn wedding, I'm going to look for a barn setting or a venue that kind of has, shiplap
Hmm.
or wood or something that kind of says, hey, we can do this.
What about hay? What if it had hay?
A little bit of hay, at least something that makes it look like it's barn,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think it was a rec center. So
Okay.
I ended up making it work, but it was more than I had originally thought I was going to take on at a short
Hmm.
6 month period.
Yeah.
So yeah, and there was no changing her mind. So I had to make it work.
But I mean, so she bought all of this stuff and then she scrapped it. So she must, I mean, so does somebody like that give you a budget and say, I want this wedding, my budget is $100,000, go.
Yeah, so she didn't have that budget. So
No.
I used what
It must
she
not have been a
had.
New York wedding then.
No, it wasn't. So I used some of the things she had, but I really had to be creative and I really had to think outside of the box to really kind of
Hmm. Hmm.
give her what she was looking for on the
Hmm.
budget that she had. There was no way that we could start over completely because she had spent so much money buying things and renting a venue, and doing all of the things that she thought in her head she could do. That's why I always
Hmm.
say, even if you're going to try to do most of the things on your own,
Hmm.
you really still have to consult a professional to really bring it all
100%.
together. Yeah.
100%. 100%. So, now when the day happens, are you there?
I'm there
So like,
from
and,
start to
and are you
finish.
basically, so you're the director of the day?
Hmm.
Really? Now, you also book the catering
Yep.
and and you get the invitations. And now, do you coach her, I guess, on what invitations to get, or do you just leave it to her and her fiance? I mean, do you get in deep like your menu should be, or how do you get that far into it?
So a lot of times what we do is we kind of do a pre-consultation and we talk about like, what is your theme? What do you envision for your day? And then I suggest a number of things and then they select what is what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Because ultimately it's still their day. They have to make that decision. But understanding what they want, where the look. Are
Yeah,
you
sorry.
you're
I
back?
have no idea what's going on. I'll see if I can edit that out. So,
Okay.
so I was. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, so I was asking if. So I was asking about the whole catering part, how much is your hand in that stuff for catering, for the real details? Or do you let others kind of take that for you? Are you basically everything? Yeah.
I'm everything for them. And so from what they tell me that they want, I then make suggestions on several caterers. We have tastings and they select who they, who they want, who most meets their need. But
Hmm.
I make suggestions from, you know, caterers that I worked with in the past.
Hmm. What so musecompany.co, that's the big thing right now for you, right?
Hmm.
So what haven't we talked about regarding Muse.co? I mean, I think from our pre-interview, I think we pretty much got it. But what did I miss? What did I miss that you want people to know about Muse Company?
Uh, well, because I am so versatile, I have had
Hmm.
people who have reached out and said, "Hey, I just moved into a house and I need help figuring out my color palette," or, "Can you help me decorate my dining room?" And I love to do that. I love to do that. And
Like a
so
stylist?
I'm,
I mean, would you go in like a stylist to do that kind of stuff? Or do you also, I mean, I'm trying to figure out, like, I call you in because I don't know what colors I'm going to do for my apartment. I mean, do you come in with like swatches or will you go shopping with me? Because I mean,
yes,
I was a stylist, so I kind of understand that part of it. Is that kind of
yeah,
like what you were doing with this? I got it.
yeah, yeah.
That's kind of
And
cool.
that I love doing that. I
So when somebody hires you, they're getting kind of like a best friend.
Yes,
I
that's
mean, you're
the
like,
joy part.
so like best friend for hire.
Yes,
Because that's
yes.
something I would do like with one of my best friends. I love,
That's a
honestly, that's
business
really
idea.
cool.
That's a business idea, Ben.
Well, I
Best
mean,
friend for hire.
I remember an old cartoon on the Animaniacs where there was a thing called Rent a Friend. It was hysterical. But that really sounds like what you're doing, best friend for hire. Because if I hire you, I'm not just getting a cookie cutter person to kind of go through the steps. I'm getting somebody who actually is looking out for my best interest and wants me to be as happy as can be. And that's what a best friend does. But also will tell me when something's wrong.
Yes,
I love it.
exactly.
Best friend for hire. You can have that one.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
I just have one more thing. I always ask this about sleep. It's been a really rough year with COVID. The vaccines come full on. I already got my second vaccine. Um, New York is opening up again. Do you have any sleep rituals you could share with us? Something that helps you, or do you just not have a problem? I don't even know if you have a problem sleeping.
I do. I do.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because I do so much, right? So my brain is always going. I'm a
Yeah.
creative, so juices are always flowing in my head, and so I have to literally 15 minutes, 9 o'clock, I'm in my room,
Hmm.
and my kids know, my husband know, 9 o'clock, she's in her room. I've showered. I'm ready to just start winding down.
Hmm.
Sometimes I do some coloring.
Like
Sometimes
the adult coloring
the
books?
adult coloring
I
books.
those.
That's in my planner. So I just pull out my planner and I kind of use the coloring page to start to wind down. Sometimes will read. Um, and then I meditate. I pray and I meditate until I fall asleep. And
What
so
what
everything is off. No electronics.
yeah.
There's nothing.
What do you read? I mean, before you go to bed, that doesn't I would be worried it would grab my attention and then I wouldn't go to sleep. But what do
Yes.
you read?
So when I read before, like at 9 o'clock when I come in here, I'll read till like 9:15.
So that's like the first thing you
First
do. It's not the
thing,
last thing.
yes. No, it's
Gotcha.
the first thing. Even the coloring, it's the first thing. And it's just kind of get me focused and have my mind
Yeah.
on one thing. And then I, pray and meditate till I fall asleep.
And you have coloring pages in your planner.
Yes. Yes.
Holy moly. How can we tell people how we can get your planner? I'll put it down in the notes, but how do we, I think, what is it, 365planner.com?
Yep.
What's
It's
your,
it's Inspire 365 Planner. You can purchase it right on the Muse Co website. So
okay.
www.musecompany.co.
Okay, and I'll put that also in the thing. Okay, now let me do my closing.
Sure.
It's all here. So I want to give a big thanks to Denise. Thank you so much for the cuddle today. And I also want to thank you for your continued support. Everybody who's watching, thank you so much. And everybody who will watch, I really appreciate it. And if you're looking for Beanie Sleeper for yourself or to support a family member or friend, you can always go to beaniesleeper.com and make the purchase there. Or you can go in my profile, there's a link. I want to say this. So next week's show is also going to be really good. Erin Halligan, she's the creator of Concern Center. She's going to be on. We're going to talk about this amazing, amazing app. And I also want to say this will be on Spotify in about 2 hours. So please subscribe to Spotify for me. Oh my God, I have so much. Also, if you would like to cuddle with me and be a guest on Sleeping with Ben, just DM me directly and we can chat about it. All right. Denise, thank you so much. You
Thank
are
you.
amazing. And sorry about all the weirdness.
That's okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you to everybody. Have a good day. Bye.